Good evening. Welcome to the Glazov Gang. Our tough and streetwise and intellectual gang members this evening are Dwight Schultz, a Hollywood star who played Murdoch on NBC's The A-Team, and Barkley on Star Trek The Next Generation. There's also rumor on the street that he is 23-0 in underground fights in fight clubs in Los Angeles. Is there any truth to this, Dwight?
Absolutely not. You are nothing but a false teller. No truth teller here.
Backed by popular demand, the one and only Anne-Marie Murrell, the National Director of Politichicks, and with her is Reagan Murrell.
That's right.
Can you introduce her?
Reagan Murrell.
No, but is there an extra something
Hello,
to say?
No, that's it.
That's it?
Oh, well, she was rescued from the Glendale Humane Society.
Okay.
So.
And our new gang member, Alfonzo Rachel. A great honor and privilege to have him with us. He's a social political humorist whose brilliant video commentaries titled ZoNation are featured on PJTV. He is the founder and drummer for the rock band 20 Pound Sledge, produced under his label Macho Sauce Productions. How am I doing so far?
You're doing great. How's you doing, Reagan? Reagan's
And he is the author and narrator of the audiobook Weapon of ASS Destruction.
Sure, yeah.
Or is it?
It's Weapon of Ass Destruction, but...
Okay. And his site is alfonsorachel.com.
But just really quick, for when I say Weapon of Ass Destruction, it is abbreviated, and it's kind of like my double, triple entendre there. The ass actually stands for American Socialist States.
Okay, so it's PJ rated.
It's PJ, exactly,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, and very quickly tell us about the book.
The book is basically, it's my manifesto of Christian conservative apologetics. So,
Wow, okay.
over the past 40, 60 years, the left has asserted these certain things about the Republican Party and conservatism. And my book is just helping set the record straight.
Excellent. Now, I'm really sorry. A lot of emails poured in today, and a lot of our readers and viewers asked me to ask you about your beard.
Uh-huh.
There is some concern that you have or might be converting to Islam.
Oh, just for that, I'm going to grow my beard longer, just for that.
Now, this is a myth. It's not true, right?
It's not true. It's not
Okay.
true. If that were the case, I guess I would have been there a long time, because I used to have a chin rope. That was
Okay.
way down to here. And the only reason why I cut it was I was.
How long did it take to grow it?
I think I was growing it for about 2 years.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, it was long. And I was studying to get my pilot's license, my commercial pilot's license. And just, so I can start to adjust myself into the more professional image, I ended up cutting it off so I wouldn't, scare the passengers or anything like that.
And thank you for joining us. Now, before we begin, Alfonso is a new gang member of the Glazov Gang. Dwight and Anne-Marie, tell Alfonso the rule about the Glazov Gang.
No way.
I don't trust you guys. What do you
No.
Anne-Marie, please don't always
Never.
make me say it.
Come on.
It's not going to be me.
Okay, you can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave. Okay? And who sang that song?
You got eagles on me. Okay.
Right. Okay. So you can check in, you can check out.
But you can never leave. I got
Exactly.
you.
Okay.
All right.
I've been here for 3 weeks. They will not let me go.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, from the world of jokes and buffoonery to the serious issues of our time, the first topic on the Glazov Gang this evening, the left's Chris Dorner romance. And Alfonso, a brilliant video that you did on Chris Dorner. Tell us about it at PJ TV and tell us some of your views on it.
Oh, I did the video on it just to show this fascination that they have with Chris Dorner, and it goes back to, his motivations were politically motivated. Not only because you have this person who wants to exact justice against the system, and who wants to carry out their ideals, but the strange thing that I'm looking at is that the left, it's always been them who exacts politically motivated violence. From the KKK to James Earl Ray, it's always been them.
And they love cop killers.
And
they get excited.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I'm looking at these things, and I'm like wondering what's their why this fascination with them, and more importantly, it's always been them, but it's us right-wingers who are these nut jobs who like to go around shooting people, and I don't really know of any right-wing factions that are going around shooting people.
Now, Alfonso, you made a joke, I think, unless I dreamt it in your video, that people can relax now because people were doing a double take thinking that you were Chris Dorner. Did you make that joke? Or
Yes, I
am I
did.
projecting
Yeah.
something? Yeah. Okay. So what was happening there? Is that real or you're just joking?
It's really, I said it more in jest if anything else. Actually, there was a couple of times, and this is police just doing their job, and I'm glad that they didn't really get like overly zealous.
Well,
and,
were
like,
you paranoid or?
No, I really wasn't worried about it. So I was out jogging one time, and the police are driving by, and they kind of do that double take, and I'm like, at least I'm not driving a truck or something like that, and they can shoot it up anyway. No, cops.
Or if you were an Asian lady at night.
Now, before we move on to our very wise and intelligent other gang members, Mark Lamont Hill is one of the leftists who was giddy over Dorner. Just some of your views on that, of how,
Well, I don't know. Somebody
quite a phenomenon.
Somebody can say something. I mean, when you say that, hey, it's kind of exciting. And people say that, well, that's really not what he meant. It's like, I don't know, man. I trust Mark Lamont to say what he honestly thinks. He's going to say what's on his mind.
And he's excited. He's excited. He has to, I think he's really admitting something there. Yeah. It's exciting. He's excited, but innocent people died.
Yeah. And it's kind of exciting. But to compare him to this Django, he compared him to a Django Unchained. It's like a real life Django Unchained. It's like, no, man, there's two totally different dynamics here. If you're feeling that some people have wronged you, that's one thing. Like I guess in the case of Django Unchained, if we're talking about a person who had their liberty taken away from them, or sees people who have their lives taken away from them, who are not considered human without due process. That's even if you decide to go off being a vigilante, which I'm not justifying, you go around killing people, even though that they were doing these things, taking away somebody's God-given rights. That's a whole different thing from where Dorner is because Dorner wasn't made to be a cop. He wasn't made to do anything. Right. He wasn't sentenced into a life of servitude to law enforcement. It's a totally different thing.
When the left behaves in this way with an issue and development like this, does it sicken you?
Yeah, it sickens me, but it doesn't surprise me.
It sickens you, but it doesn't surprise you. Alfonso, the new rule on the Glazov gang also is that the person speaking says who gets to speak next.
Reagan. I'll defer directly to my right.
I loved your video.
Oh, thank
you. You saw what happened on my Facebook page when I posted it, though.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
It was bizarre. I've had, and honestly,
tell our viewers what happened.
I hate to say this, but a lot of the people who've been really worshiping Christopher Dorner that I've seen on my personal Facebook page have been libertarians. They haven't been people on the left. It's been libertarians.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I checked on their Facebook page. He has a fan page that has over almost 3,000 likes. Somebody wrote, some of those crooked cops deserved what they got. Dorner was a black man that got tired of seeing those pigs kill off his people. Someone else wrote, I'm glad those sons of bitches got a taste of their own medicine. I'm glad they felt the fear they put in our communities. And another said, I just read his manifesto, and damn, I respect and look up to him even more after reading that. It goes on and on and on like that. This is bizarre.
Yeah, when they think about the LAPD, and I guess the LAPD's got a really bum rap. And now they accuse the LAPD of police brutality and stuff like that. And there may be some truth to that, but they don't look at the brutality that people inflict upon each other. And I know that they're speaking directly to the black community, and the black community has the highest violent crime rate against itself. It's like, why aren't you angry about that, but you want to be angry at the LAPD? And it's like, the LAPD, California is unionized, right? So it's like, you want to be mad at the LAPD? There's a bunch of liberal cops. They're union in the most liberal state in the union. So if you're going to be mad at the LAPD, you're mad at cops that are in bed with the Democrat Party. I'm just saying.
Alfonso, who speaks next?
Let's go to Dwight Schultz.
Well, from my standpoint, and this is why it's so great to have Zo here, the destruction of the language and the use of language, justice, social justice, taking these themes, it's almost like the creation of a real-life motion picture with consequences, in which this sick individual who had trouble in the Navy. He had trouble in the Navy. He shouldn't have even, perhaps, been on the Los Angeles police force. But he's there. He's clearly ill. He's killing people. But it's justice. He's claimed that he was wrong.
Yeah.
But there's no proof that he was wronged. He went through a process, and they found out that he had problems, and he was let go. But he claimed that he was wrong immediately. It's racial.
Right.
Immediately. And the media goes with it. And the typical anarchists, that's what they are, whether they're libertarians or whether they're on the left and Marxists and marching in the SEIU and whatever other union that is supporting it. It's the destruction of order is what it's all about. And even Mark Lamont Hill, it's exciting to see order break apart because it means that their ideas can come in and interpose and take over. They're always looking for it. It was like when Michael Moore was asked about the destruction of America, what are you going to replace it with? He said, it hasn't been done yet. We don't know. They don't know.
Right.
Well,
so that's what this represents to me.
Well, this is thank you, Dwight, and this is also the carbon copy on many levels of how, just revolutions, the Russian Revolution.
Always started
all
by
these
minority.
revolutions based on some kind of injustice, and then they eat their own children and mass killings, etc. Let me get some focus back on you before the end of this segment. Can I call you Zo as well?
Sure.
We're not close enough yet?
You call me Zo.
So you mentioned that you mentioned the black community. I don't know what the most politically correct term now is, if it's African American community or black community. There's also a question also as to why necessarily a black person has to even answer for something that other people do in a certain quote unquote community. But the elephant in the room always is when there is a black individual who is Republican or pro-conservative, people notice.
Sure.
And so tell us a little bit quickly about your background. How did it happen that you're not worshiping Obama and that you're a conservative? What's your journey? What happened?
Well,
because
that was what someone actually accused him of being a conservative plant on my Facebook page. It was horrible.
But it's not, what happened? How did you see the light, or how have you even experienced? I'm sure that there's some persecution of you in some ways as well. Tell us about it.
Well, it really is a long story. I talk about it. I go in depth on it in my book, Weapon of Mass Destruction. But the last I think the straw that broke the camel's back is I am a musician. A lot of musicians tend to lean to the left, and while I'm playing with groups, I found, because I was a liberal Democrat. I was a default Democrat.
Oh, so you're a second thoughter.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was an open-minded.
Anne Marie is as well.
Yeah, I was an open-minded liberal, and when I opened my mind and actually took a listen to conservatism, I went with it. So I really walked the walk and talked the talk.
Was this
as liberal.
post 9/11? Sorry.
No, I started coming into it before 9/11 happened.
Okay.
And but 9/11 was kind of like the affirmation, though.
Okay.
And but with playing with groups, if I question the liberal narrative, if I question their ideals, I would get that that look where they would look at me sideways and they would accuse me, "Oh, you must be one of those black Republicans." And I wasn't a Republican at the time. I was like, "No, I'm just asking." And but I noticed that so-called tolerance and acceptance and all that sort of stuff, and espousing different ideals really wasn't welcome. If you thought different than the way the liberal think, you're in trouble.
When you came out of the conservative closet, if I would call it that, did you lose some friends? Did people call you names? Are people upset with you?
Yeah, definitely.
Because they, the left is unforgiving. They dehumanize the people.
Between friends and family. It's.
Before we go, Anne Marie and Dwight, what do you think of Alfonso seeing the light and having the courage to come to the good side of the army?
Well, I read his book. It's on my phone. I listened to it frequently, chapter by chapter, and even though I read it, and it is one of the most. It is from a Christian perspective, but it is dead on honesty. It's just so bloody honest. Just nails it. And it doesn't matter what subject, whether it's sex or what.
I got to read this book.
Let me tell you, his first chapter he goes over the way the Democrats say history happened and the way it really did. It's an education for everybody. That first
What is it? It's sex education as well?
No,
or
no,
why
that's, for you it will be sex education, but political education, it deals with everything in life.
No,
It
I'm
really
sorry.
does.
I'm not trying to be. I'm just wondering,
Yeah.
why did
No,
you
it's
mention
okay.
sex? What is?
Because he talks about it openly, straight. About
About-
homosexuality and heterosexuality.
Okay.
And
Okay, I got to read
he
this.
deals with subjects that other people won't talk about,
I
which is
see.
most topics. The Democrats, we can't really talk about them. They have made sure that the topics are off topic. We can't
Right.
mention Islam, and
he's-
we can't talk about
and he's
sex
not afraid
and sexuality.
and he's not but we can talk about it here on the Glazov gang. But he's not afraid. He wasn't afraid to violate the party line in the left,
He's
right?
phenomenal.
That's right.
Anne Marie, your thoughts on our new gang member?
This guy is. I love Zoe. You know that, and he's one of the most genuinely sweet, kind people I've ever known. But he's like a laser beam when it comes to breaking down this cultural problem that we have, and telling whose side, what really happened. The very first video I ever saw of yours was your explanation about the KKK and how the Democrats, and it was always the Democrats. I'd never put all that together before until I saw that. I made my husband watch it with me,
And
that
Ann
was
Coulter
when we
has
just
told
fell
the
in
truth
love.
about that as
Yeah.
well, and it's incredible how
Yeah.
people associate racism with the Republican Party.
Of
right?
course.
All good things must come to an end, including the first segment of this Glazov Gang episode. See you in a few minutes for our second segment.